Bum, 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 bum. Do 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 bum 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 do 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 boo boo do 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 bum 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 do 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 ba da dum bum 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 ba da da dum bum bum ba dum ba ba dum da 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 ba dum bum bum ba da 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 dun 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 dun. Hello, my friends. Hello. It is 8 o'clock Eastern Time on Monday, and that means only one thing, at least for me. It means we are together as we have been for several years every Monday at 8 o'clock so that I can do one thing and one thing only, and that is to teach you. And for you to learn not only from me but from others who are here, because others there are a lot of very astute people in my mighties and on Facebook Live. I see it all the time. It is really wonderful. And so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Joette Calabrese, and I'm here every Monday at 8 Eastern Time, as I said. And we're here to go through Materia Medica. But tonight we're going to do something a little differently. Okay, we're going to do something, and we're changing the venue a bit. We've been using my Materia Medica all along for the last few years, and it looks like this, not upside down, like that. And you can get a hold of this if you go to my website, joettecalabrese.com. But tonight we're not going to do that. Tonight we're going to talk about a condition. For those of you who have been with me all along, thank you for joining me again. And for those who are new, thank you for joining me the first time. It really makes it extra fun to see folks coming in from everywhere. Here we go. Hi, Rechna from Florida, and Leanne and Bonnie. Hi, Bonnie. It's wonderful to see everyone coming in. Here we go. From all over, I mean, it's all over the US especially, but we also have Canada and Europe and Australia, and we have people from all walks of life and all parts of this earth. Because we know this, my friends, we need to know these medicines. We need to know how to treat this condition, because we do not want to depend on drugs of commerce. We do not want to depend on synthetics. Because we want to be able to uproot the condition, not suppress it. Suppressing a condition is exactly the exact opposite of what we want to do. So tonight, let's talk about what are we talking about tonight? I think it's plantar fasciitis. Now, plantar fasciitis is in the feet. It comes from the heel generally. Sometimes the pain is only at the heel. Sometimes the pain is clear across the foot, the bottom of the foot, and it can even radiate elsewhere. But what I'm going to teach you tonight is a remedy that I have used for many people with not only plantar fasciitis, but also arthritis and other tendon and muscular and joint pains. It's really a wonderful, wonderful medicine, and it's a Banerjee protocol. And what I love about it is that the Banerjees came up with combination medicines. Oh, yeah. We love those combination medicines. I don't like necessarily those medicines that have 50 medicines all mixed together, homeopathic medicines. Doesn't do it for me. I don't mind what boron does. They mix medicines here and there for, let's say, restless legs, or OHM manufactures medicines that are specific for colic, etc. So I like Washington does it. I believe Hahnemann Pharmacy does it. Helios, many very good quality pharmacies make medicines that are a combination of about sometimes 3, 4, sometimes as many as 5 medicines. And they're used more for acute conditions, which is just fine. because we won't be using it for long. Now, plantar fasciitis, I consider it's pretty much acute, right? And we, how interesting. People already know the protocol I'm going to be talking about. Yeah. Hi, Kimberly. Yes, you bet. That's exactly the protocol I'm going to be talking about. And what we like about this protocol in particular is that it's easy. Now, look, there are many medicines that we could use for plantar fasciitis, and it's not a medicine that we must adhere to if it's not acting, because as the Banerjees taught me personally and taught many other senior doctors, that these medicines, these protocols, act for approximately 80 to 85% of the population that has that particular condition. It's a high number. It's really good. It's really an excellent. Sometimes it's more than just a start. Sometimes it's an absolute take to the finish line. So the medicine that I'm going to talk about, there are two of them mixed together, and they are, you're absolutely right, Symphytum, Symphytum, Symphytum 200C. Symphytum officinalis. We can eliminate the officinalis. We can just call it Symphytum. Symphytum 200C mixed with Rhus tax. Rhus tax. Now, I use this in the 30, this Rhus tax. I always use the Symphytum in a 200, but I've also used the Rhus tax in a 30 or a 200. I usually start with the 30, but sometimes we go right to a 200, and it is used until we see what? Until we see improvement, until we see that the condition is resolved. Then what happens? Then does that mean we take it forever for the rest of our lives? Oh, nay, nay. This is not conventional drugs where they say, oh, you've got high blood pressure, so now you must forever more use this drug. Or you have hypothyroidism, you're going to be taking this drug forever. No, we don't think that way, because we expect more from our medicines. We expect them to change things, improve things, not just hide symptoms. So I like Symphytum 200 with Rhus tax 30 or 200 twice daily. They're mixed together twice daily. Now, if you're not a student or a client of mine, then you don't have access to OHM Pharma. And OHM Pharma is the company that makes them mixed together. I'm watching what people are saying. Yes, I've learned well. Yeah. Rhus tax is my all-time fav, but I'm a 1M-er for other things. 30 works great for plantar foot pain, though. Yes, I'm gonna be honest with you about how I use this for myself as well. Now, I don't have plantar fasciitis, but I do have arthritic pain or muscular pain, maybe it's probably tendon or arthritic pain in my feet if I'm on them too long. And I just went to an event yesterday, a house and garden show that was just lovely. It was a kickoff to my week. This week is my first vacation in my entire professional career. I'm actually taking off for a big family event that we're having. And yesterday was the kickoff, and it was an opportunity to spend time with my friends for an afternoon. And so I walked and I wore the wrong shoes. I even brought a second pair of shoes, but they were also wrong. And my feet were painful. Now, it was not plantar fasciitis. So first let's finish talking about that, and then we'll go into what I most often use. So I use plantar fasciitis, I use Symphytum 200 with Rhus tax 30 twice daily. If that doesn't seem to work well enough, then I'm going to use Symphytum 200 Rhus tax 200 twice daily. Now, here's the thing. Rhus tax, let's start from the first one. Symphytum is very specific for tendons, muscles, joints, and bones. It's a, shall I say, gobsmacking medicine. It works on so many levels. Now, when we mix that to make it into a Banerjee protocol, we mix it with Rhus tax. Rhus tax is all about worse on first movement, like a rusty gate. Rhus tax, rusty gait. Now, I wonder who came up with that. It's old. We were taught that back in the 80s. And so I don't know who taught that first, but it was clever. It's like a rusty gate when it first gets moving. Oh, very painful, very painful. Ow, 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 ow. And then we get the gait moving and it moves on. And okay, now there's no more pain, or it's very much minimized, and the person can move along. So that's just like a rusty gait. And then if the person overdoes it, uses their feet too long, or their joints, or whatever it is that they're dealing with the joints and tendons, etc., then that pain is much worse. Oh my gosh, especially if the person stops and slows down, and now the pain is worse than ever until they get going again and get it moving again, getting the body moving. Now, plantar fasciitis can be like that. And that is one of our indicators that we know that we need we need a Rhus tox for this, Symphytum 200 with Rhus tox 30 or 200. But what if it's not like that? I also find that the great medicines for plantar fasciitis is also Bryonia. Bryonia, Bryonia. Yes, Bryonia. It's very specific for when the heel pain is when the person pushes on the heel and the heel pain hurts. So every step, every movement doesn't get better with more movement like Rhus tox does. Bryonia is always worse for movement. And so every step, ow, 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 it hurts from walking, from taking steps, from flexing those tendons. And when the person stops walking, stops flexing, puts their feet up, perhaps, the plantar fasciitis is much relieved. It's not Rhus tox. You see, Rhus tox is the opposite. It's very bad once they put their feet up and they stop moving. That's when it really, really hurts. Now, there are a couple of other medicines that I like to use, but I have to tell you that I always start with medicines that I always give them a good amount of time. We want to honor these medicines and use them properly and give them their due. So 1 dose, 2 doses, not going to do it. Well, that's why I say twice daily. How many days? Well, until we can find out whether or not this is helping at all. And the best way to know that this will help is to find out, let's say it's not happening to you. It's not your plantar fasciitis. It's a friend's. And you ask the friend, give me a number on how painful it is. And you jot that down. Now you want to compare that and overlay, I should say, that in a few days, a couple weeks, perhaps, maybe even as long as a month, we want to say, is the pain still there? Yes, the pain is still there. But it used to be, we're going to overlay the new information. The pain used to be a whopping 8 out of 10. Now the pain's still there, but now it's more like a 3. If it's a 3, after using any homeopathic medicine, you know that medicine is active. I mean, you have no other way of knowing for sure, right? You must count on that. So that is your indicator. And people say, well, I just want to know the name of the medicines I should be using. It's not that simple, my friends. You have to assess. You have to allow the medicine to act and assess. And how do you assess? You must observe and question if you need to. I like observing mostly. I think it's more important even than asking questions. But the question we do want answered is, give me a number for how painful it is. And then you're going to ask again over time, give me a number of how painful it is now after having used this medicine. So when Bryonia by itself or with Symphytum, yes, I would use Bryonia by itself. But I might also try it with Symphytum. It's not a Banerjee protocol to mix them together, but they could certainly be used simultaneously in the same schedule. Yep, that's the way I would do it. And I would use Bryonia 200, to be honest. I don't know that I would bother with the 30, even though I would use the Symphytum with Rhus tox 30 to start. I am a little more conservative when we mix these medicines together. So, no, I would start with Bryonia alone. And if that didn't help, but it still seemed to fit the Bryonia picture, and I assume that you're going to be reading this picture, right? You're going to open up your Materia Medica and read up on Bryonia. That's the way I want you to always do this. Don't count on me to give you the whole picture. I give you a portion, and then the rest is up to you to look up, to read in your Materia Medica. Not one Materia Medica. Use many materials. Find those that are online, that are free. Dr. James Tyler Kent is free. Looking for my other Boraki. Dr. Boraki's Materia Medica is free online. There are several of them. So I want you to open up the book, look at the medicine, and read up on it. Okay. Now, I personally, when I walked yesterday and walked in the wrong shoes all day long, in all over gravel, on soft grass, in houses, out of houses, walking, walking, walking. And I was not prepared properly. It felt like my feet were, how would I say? It felt like they'd been run over by a truck. They were really, really painful. And I found that it was the only thing that did it was Arnica. Arnica 200. Arnica 200. I kept taking it. I took it every hour. And by the third dose, I was with my family last night, and I declared I really wanted to soak them, but I didn't for one reason. I live in Florida, and believe it or not, I don't have a bathtub. One of the most foolish things we've ever done. I love baths. And just because it's hot out doesn't mean I don't want a bath. So next time I'm going to I've got a little tub, a little basin, and I'll use that and put some Epsom salts in it. But the Arnica Montana made a big difference. And then I also used Rhus Tox. And I'm going to be honest with you, my friends, I took a 1M. The pain was quite extraordinary. I mean, I couldn't keep still. I had to keep moving my legs. That's an indication that Rhus Tox is needed. So I used Rhus Tox for that reason. Arnica, because I had somewhat injured them of sorts. And that's what Arnica is great for, is for injuries. And I said, if I don't do something within the next hour or two, I'm not going to be able to sleep. But I slept like a baby last night. It was excellent. Now, when I woke up this morning, I felt my whole body felt beat up because I was probably put out of alignment with the kinds of shoes that I was wearing. And I was achy everywhere. Now, I could have taken Symphytum, but it was an injury of sorts. Not that I fell. It was that I had overused my muscles in a way that I had not used in a very long time, at least not for that length of time. So I used Arnica again, Arnica 200. And I took it again. I think I took it twice in an hour. And then about 3 hours later, I took it one more time, and it's been fine all day. My feet and my shoulders and my back and my hips, all fine. Plus, here's something that I want to add to this, my friends. It's easy to miss this. First, I'll tell you this story, and I think I've told it before. Years ago, when I was young, I was in my late 30s. I had this back pain, and I loved my chiropractor, and I went to him, and I said, "Oh my gosh, this back pain is terrible." It was my lower back. And he adjusted me, and it would help for about a day or so. And then I would go back a few days later and I would get another adjustment, another adjustment. This was going on for months until one day I got this newsletter inadvertently. I don't even know how I was on the mailing list. And I received this newsletter that had an article in about back pain. And it said one of the main causes of back pain is dehydration. Dehydration, I said to myself. That makes perfect sense. Why? Because at the time I was nursing, and I was not focused on making sure that I was drinking enough water. I started to drink water that the moment I picked up that magazine, I started reading that magazine, I put it down. I started to drink water, and I would say that in about, I don't remember exactly, I don't know, a few hours or so, the back pain started to melt away. And into the night, the pain was gone. And the next day, the pain continued to be not non-problematic. And so I started to drink more water, and I didn't have a problem with it anymore. And so I now know that it is very important that we remain hydrated, and it's super easy to become dehydrated. Why? Not only because I live in the tropics, and you may not, but you have dry heat, you have steam or gas hot water in a radiator that's heating your house, or even if you're nursing a baby or you are an athlete, you need to keep water as a part of your day-to-day way of living. And it's easy to think that you're getting enough fluids because we all drink coffee, and coffee is a diuretic. So is regular tea, so is green tea and black tea. They're diuretics. And so we have to remember that it's easy to become dehydrated, particularly if you drink coffee or tea. So I urge you to drink water. Now, a gallon of water a day? No, that's ridiculous. I think that every time someone urinates, they should replenish that and more, and a little more of that in terms of fluids lost, and that should keep us just about right. So, but when we're dehydrated, there's so little output that we might want to double up on that water for a while. But I don't believe in the gallon of water a day. I do believe that we should be just watching for it. Doesn't mean we overdrink it. And that usually keeps us hydrated enough, depending on the circumstances. As I said, climate, nursing, athletics, etc. So I want you to think about that. Man, I wish that was the answer. Yeah, well, the back pain can also be ledum. Ledum can be helped with a back pain. Can be useful to help with back pain. As I said, Bryonia, especially for discs, very, very valuable. Slip discs, ruptured discs, absolutely. Let's see if I can get some questions going on with my Facebook Live. Okie doke. All right, what else do we have here? What about using Napmure to help with the water imbalance? Well, I always prefer to just correct the imbalance through common sense rather than take a homeopathic medicine. Certainly, if there's a true imbalance in water, then of course we would consider Napmure. Yes. I also put salt in my water regularly. So if you don't drink too much, says Leanne, you simply flush it out. Be efficient. Drink 4 ounces intermittently so that your body uses it. Yes, instead of guzzling. You're absolutely right. All right. So somebody has bone spurs. Bone spurs are a little different, and we may go over those sometime soon. But Kimberly's talking about here. Let's see if we can see any more questions here. I have this issue now, and it has been very painful. I tried Arnica and belladonna and pain. Yes, ma'am. We all now know from listening to Joette that there are many medicines that can help. Listen, if I were to open up my repertoire and we looked under plantar fasciitis or tendon pain in the heel pain, I should say, and tendons in the feet, we would find many more medicines. I'm only giving you the medicines that are the most common. Okay. And we start with medicines that most commonly used for the greatest number of people. That's how we know that it has value, because it has helped so many. Homeopathy has taught me, says Melissa, my conventional doctors don't take half their time observing patients. It's observation. You're absolutely right. It's all about observation. Absolutely, my friends. Observe, observe, observe. Listen, you don't have to ask someone if their feet hurt. You can watch when they get up. You can watch as they're seated. You can watch or observe them when they get out of bed if it's a family member, right? You just watch. If you ask too many questions, I've talked about this many times before. If you ask too many questions, then it can lead the person to believe that they know what to say to you. And we don't want them to do that. We don't want them to be led into an answer. We want pure, real observational skills. And let's just see. Using the protocol for my mother's osteoarthritis in the knees, but still having pain. Should be increased to 200C. Knees are very specific, my friends. Who knows what the remedy is for knees? Some is very good for the knees, but there's another medicine, and I've already talked about it tonight. Anybody know medicine that is specific for knee arthritis. And while you're taking time to figure it out, I am going to take a sip of my water. Excuse me. Absolutely, Leanne. Absolutely. Arnica. Symphytum 200 with Arnica. It's usually Arnica 30. Yes. So over conventional medicine, says Kimberly. So many doctors have my hands, have my friends and family running in circles. Yeah. It's interesting, well put, because I talk about rabbit holes, but it can be running in circles. Yeah, Arnica, twice a day. Thank you very much. You're absolutely right. Arnica's for the knees. Symphytum too, but Arnica for the knees as well. Yes. So this method of using the name of the condition and the organ where it's located is practical homeopathy. It's what the Banerjees taught me. So a lot of it, I'm using the Banerjee protocols. And in other circumstances, I might be using something that I've learned and used myself. I don't know that I would necessarily call them true protocols, but I find that things come to me after seeing someone suffering for, over time. Not one person, many people, over and over and over again. Gateway 2, if you have that in the salt lesson, yes, take the Gateway courses, my friends. You will not be sorry. And one of the reasons you will not be sorry if you decide to join one of my study groups is because you will meet other people, not unlike you, right on screens, right in Zoom. You get to meet them and you get to help each other. Yes, absolutely. All righty. Pellets in water instead. Listen, I always tell people you can do whatever you like. And there are certain circumstances in which I do put pellets in water. And I like Joepathy's method, Joe de Oliveira, where he puts the remedy, the Arnica, in water. He likes to start with liquid and then put it in water and keep it going over many days, even weeks. But generally speaking, I really like following the directions on the bottle. You may get results if you put it in water. You indeed may get that. You may indeed get results if you use only one pill. But I'm going to tell you that there is a better way to do it. The best way is, at least at the onset of giving these medicines a try so that you know whether or not they're working, is to follow the directions written on the bottle. All righty. Let's see some more questions here. Okay, love learning from you. Wish you lived in Michigan. I better get some water. My bag is killing me. Getting my water now. Yeah, and you know what? As I said, I put salt in my water, because believe it or not, when you're fatigued, you can really be profited by putting salt in your water or electrolytes. Yeah, I've been taught that pain is your body's call for water. Yes, that's so in some circumstances, but not all. Dr. Batman-Gallen, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, was the man who was imprisoned years ago. I can't remember what countries in the East. I don't remember where he's from. And he helped people his fellow prisoners by encouraging them to drink plenty of water because it's all they were really given, but for a little bit of bread. Yes, dehydration, yes. Carpal tunnel. Yeah, carpal tunnel, symphytum. Absolutely, my friends. That's the way it works. And I think some people are asking about bunions. I'm pretty sure we talked about bunions on my website. I mean, on my blog. Check it out. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, enjoying my time with my family. So far, it's been wonderful. Simple. My life is very simple this week. Sort of, because I'm having a big bash. Yes, sea salt. Absolutely. Yes. From Iran. Yes, he was from Iran. You're absolutely right. I think his name was Batman-Gallen. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. How about adding bioplasma and drinking water when dehydrated? Certainly. That could be of use. Absolutely. Yes, you can. And look, I'm a homeopath. I like bioplasma, but to be honest, I put salt in my water. I have put bioplasma in there, and I actually have a recipe on my blog for dehydration with cell salts, as well as a little bit of yogurt and some salt and lemon. All righty, my friends, it's 8:30. It goes by so quickly, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Wonderful to see you all. Thank you for joining me. I love you all. Pass on the good news of homeopathy. Turn people onto this. Teach your children. Teach your children. Very important. Teach your grandchildren. Use this for your animals. Use this for wildlife. This is, oh, here it is. Is it F? Batman, I think so. Maybe, could be. And use this every day. Learn how to use this medicine and own as many medicines as you can stuff into a cabinet and that you can afford. And so with that, I say, mwah, love you all. God bless you. And I will see you next Monday. Bye now.